Allow me to introduce you to the portable career opportunities at CVS Health. I'm Kimber Hill, active duty spouse, and this is how I navigate my military spouse lifestyle. I cover topics like remote work, building wealth in real estate, and how to maximize your military benefits. So hit subscribe and consider me your MilSpouse bestie.
Virtual employment is here to stay. I'm military spouse, VirtForce founder, and your remote work expert, Kimber Hill. Subscribe now to learn how you too can thrive in the virtual workforce.
All right, thank you. You guys are blowing up the chat. Fort Eustis, Biloxi, Fort Drum. Thank you so much for your participation. Really good to see you. For your awareness, I'm in Pensacola, Florida. This is my second tour here with my husband, and it's beautiful. And like I said earlier, like Katie said, this is an incredible event with CVS Health. My name is Kimber Hill. I'm the founder and CEO of VirtForce, and I couldn't be more excited to introduce you to CVS today. I would love to get to know you. A lot of us are already connected, but if we are not, feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn, send me a DM, say hi, and let me know how I can help you. And I see you. I know how tough it is as a military spouse to find a career that moves with you and gives you stability and actually supports the challenges of military life. And that's why we created VirtForce. And that is exactly why CVS Health is here today. They do not just say that they support military spouses and veterans. They actually do. And they have real opportunities that can work for you. I want to explore them with you today. Today, we are going to talk with Dana and Kat from the CVS Health Acquisition Team. They have red backgrounds. So Dana and Kat, please give us a wave. Plus, we're also going to talk to Toni, who is a former military spouse, an Army veteran, and an RN who is thriving at CVS Health. Toni, can we get a wave from you as well? Who's ready to jump in? If you are ready to jump in, let's do thumbs up in the chat. All right. So now that we've had a little bit of fun, let's dive in. I want to start by bringing on Kat. Kat, could you join us?
Yes. Hello. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having us.
Good to meet you. Glad you're moving on and off mute very well. So CVS Health is a huge name in healthcare, but I know that there's a lot more to it. There's so much more to it. Can you share what makes CVS Health such a great fit for military families?
Yes, absolutely. CVS Health is one of the largest healthcare companies in the country. We're a Fortune 6 company, and most people think of just the pharmacy. So we're more than just pharmacies. Some of our CVS Health business areas include Aetna, the health insurance company, Minute Clinic, Signify Health, Oak Street Health, and many others, with thousands of healthcare professionals across each of these organizations. And we are in nearly every city with a military base, so you don't have to start your career over every time you move. Moving with your role is position dependent, but with CVS Health positions in nearly every state, there's an opportunity to stay with us, even if you make a move internally. And additionally, remote roles make moving with your position so much easier.
So who here can agree that that kind of career stability is a game changer for military spouses? It's a game changer for our demographic. Give me a heart in the chat if you agree with that. All right. And now what I also would love for you to do is if you can think for a moment about how pervasive the CVS brand is and everywhere that they're located. If you have a CVS near you, put a thumbs up or a smiley face in the chat so we can see that you're tracking that. All right. So Kat, I would like for you to tell us a little bit more what it's really like to work at CVS Health.
Sure. Our culture is built around what we call our heart at work behaviors. And those include joining forces, rising to the challenge, putting people first, creating simplicity, inspiring trust, and championing quality and safety. And I would say that most all of us experience that in each of those in some way every day in our roles. We really invest in our employees as well. We have career growth, flexibility, and very strong support systems internally. And military spouses and veterans thrive here at CVS Health because they already bring resilience and dedication to the table, which is exactly what we're looking for colleagues that we hire.
I love that, Kat. I love heart at work. I think it's just perfect. And CVS isn't just about landing the job It's about joining a company that really truly gets military life, and it sets you up for success and gives you the chance to do the purpose-driven work that matters. And that's something that's so important. I know it's important to me, and I know it's important to the full military community. I want to remind all of our attendees that we are moving into Q&A a little bit later, but if you've got questions for Kat about some of the things that she mentioned, you are welcome to start putting them in the chat. My team will collect your questions and make sure that we get them answered during Q&A. So we did just hear about the culture at CVS, but can we examine a little bit more what culture in action looks like, what it looks like in real life? And I want you to meet someone who has experienced it firsthand. Toni is a former military spouse, and she is an Army veteran and a case manager RN with CVS Health, which is one of the roles that the team will be sharing more about with us today. So Toni's got an amazing story, and I can't wait for you to hear it. Toni, welcome.
Hi, Kimber. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm glad that you're here. Thank you. And your journey at CVS is really inspiring because you and I have had some other conversations about it. I think that it's super important to share it with everyone who's here today. Can you tell us how you got here and what this career has meant for you?
Yes, ma'am. So like you said, I'm a former military spouse as well as Army veteran and longtime nurse. I've worked all over the place through COVID, pandemic, but unfortunately, have gotten COVID myself. Multiple times I've faced long-term health issues that have made working in the hospital unsustainable. My mom actually works for CVS and told me to apply, even though I had no case management experience. The company provided me with all of that training that I needed as a case manager. My role as a nurse with CVS is also incredibly rewarding because I was worried that I wouldn't get the same feeling of engagement in a remote nursing role as you would with hands-on patient care, but it's just as fulfilling, if not more, because you actually get to spend more time with your patients. The flexibility has been one of the biggest perks of my role of CVS manager or a CVS case manager. I was diagnosed last year with a DFSP. This is a rare form of skin cancer. I had to go to multiple doctor's appointments and even had surgery. My teams understood and supported me. You have to find your own coverage. When you ask, it's almost like there's a race for your coworkers to jump to volunteer to help you. It is ingrained, the teamwork is ingrained in the culture here at CVS. I've also had to use several benefits that I haven't experienced before. I've never even heard of bereavement leave. And then unfortunately, I had a miscarriage. And when I had that, I let my manager know. I was like, hey, I'm not going to make it in today. And she told me to take the week off, called and checked on me several times that week. And I even got flowers. So this company is more like a family than work. They truly care about you, and they also invest in your success and well-being. And I've never had that before. Ongoing learning is encouraged, and I'm actually planning to use our tuition assistance program to continue on and pursue my master's.
Congratulations on pursuing that master's, Toni. Wow, your story is incredible. Thank you for being so open with us and sharing what it's been like. It's powerful to hear how CVS Health has supported you through so many different things. And I think that it's really game-changing to have such a supportive company. And I know that's really where we all want to align when we're thinking about long-term careers. We want to align with that kind of support. But military spouses, I really cannot stress enough about how important it is to align with a company that offers you benefits that support and complement your military life. And that's why I want you to hear from Dana. Dana, I know you have all the details on CVS benefits. Can you tell us more?
Absolutely. Hi, everyone. We take pride in our comprehensive benefits program. It's a competitive mix of pay and benefits, investing in the physical, emotional, financial wellness of our colleagues and their families to help them be the healthiest they can be. CVS Health offers benefit solutions that address needs and preferences of our colleagues, including paid time off, flexible work schedules in many cases, family leave, military and military spouse leave, dependent care resources, colleague assistance programs, tuition assistance, retiree medical access, and many other benefits depending on eligibility.
Thank you so much, Dana. So if you listened to Dana and you thought that's comprehensive, I'm excited about that, give me a thumbs up in the chat. And if you have questions for Dana, get your questions ready. You can drop them in the chat. My team will be grabbing them. We are getting closer to that moment in our conversation. So next, I think this is going to be the most exciting part for everybody here. It's time to get into the juicy details of the healthcare careers, of the meaningful healthcare careers. Kat, will you join me again and walk us through what remote clinical roles you have for us today? We're going to start there.
Of course. Well, while we have a variety of different roles available for nurses and clinicians, today we're going to highlight two of those, which are the case manager RN and the utilization management nurse consultant. So I'll start with the case manager RN, which is a very common role that you'll see posted on our career site. We have case managers in many different areas of the company. And case managers are frontline advocates for our members who can't advocate for themselves. And so they're responsible for assessing, planning, implementing, and coordinating all case management activities with our members to evaluate the medical needs and a member's overall wellness. And typically, we are looking for either 2 to 3 years as a case manager or 3 to 5 years of clinical practice experience. So you don't have to have been a case manager before to apply if you have at least 3 years typically of clinical experience. And some of our case managers are out in the field, they're on site with our members, but many of them work remotely and they might cover a certain state, they might cover a time zone, or work across many different states nationally. So one thing I would recommend, and before I even go into the other role, is when you are looking at any of our jobs on our career site, make sure you look at, we'll have two sections on there. We'll have the required qualifications that are required for the role. Usually it'll say you have to have, the requirements is what you have to have. It's you have to have at least 1 year or 3 years or 2 years of experience. Or it'll say you have to have prior experience in whatever it is. Then we have the preferred qualifications. So those are we would like to have those if we can find them. So maybe it says, so a lot of times in the preferred, it might say prior case management experience preferred, which means we'd love to see those people first. But if not, we will consider others as well. So I would just say anytime you're looking at any of our roles, make sure you pay attention to the required versus the preferred, just to help you to make sure that you are applying to the right roles based on your experience. But the case manager is a wonderful role, especially if you're looking for a remote opportunity. And again, we have them across many different business areas. So if you apply, just make sure you read through the job description, because it may, we might have, let's say 10 roles out there posted that all say case manager, but each one might be slightly different depending on the locations they cover or the team that it supports. And next, I'm going to talk about the utilization management nurse consultant role. It's another one of our top roles that we recruit for. And the nurse consultant role is often remote as well and national. So both of those roles, case manager and the nurse consultant, utilization management nurse consultant roles, are most of the time national, but not always. Sometimes, they may cover certain states, and it would say that in the job description. And our utilization management role utilizes your clinical experience and skills to help process, plan, implement, coordinate, and monitor different options for appropriate healthcare benefits for our members. So they do things like gathering clinical information from doctors' offices or the insurance portal. They communicate with providers. They identify members for referral opportunities, and they really are working collaboratively with different departments and organizations within CVS. And typically for nurse consultant roles, we're looking for at least 3 years of experience as a nurse. preferably in a med surge type of role or clinical role. Preferred qualifications usually include either prior experience working in prior authorization or utilization management or managed care. But again, it's not a requirement necessarily. That's just a preferred. So if you don't have that, don't let that stop you from applying. And again, there are different schedules. It could be, with both of those roles, sometimes they're 9 to 5 days a week, or sometimes we're hiring for people to cover evening shifts or weekends. So all of that information would be described in the actual job descriptions.
Thank you, Kat. So we know that we're getting a lot of applicants into these positions. How can our attendees here today, our military spouses, what can they do to stand out? Any tips?
Absolutely. I would say be specific. In your resume, tell us how many years you've worked in certain departments. Look for those when you're looking at the job description before you apply to it. See what it says are the required qualifications, right? And make sure that your resume, it stands out, whatever those required qualifications are. So if it says, it's required that you have 3 years at least of home health experience or home care experience, make sure that you have that and you highlight it somehow in your resume.
And also, CVS uses real people, right?
It
This
does,
is
yes.
so important in the age of AI. Please speak life into us, Kat. Tell us
Absolutely.
about the real people.
Yes. So many people we talk to think that AI has taken over recruiting and that anytime they apply to a position, it's just a computer looking at it. And that's not the case at CVS at all. Not to say that wouldn't be in the future somehow, as we always like to incorporate technology where we can, but we have actual live recruiters such as Dana who actually review each resume, and they're skimming through that resume and reading it to see if what your qualifications are. Do they meet the position that you're applying to? And so that's where we say, make sure your resume is up to date, that it stands out, because it's not a computer just searching keywords.
And I hope that encourages everybody here. I hope that you find that as encouraging as I do, that we are not applying to a machine, but a person. Thank you, Kat. Also, I can't stress enough for everyone here how important it is to tailor your resume. It can really make or break your application. And I'm going to reiterate what Kat said. Please read the job requisition thoroughly. Read the required qualifications for the clinical roles at CVS because they can vary. Like Kat said, they can vary based on the state that you're located in, the time zone, and where the work is actually being performed. So it's important to read that requisition thoroughly. When you are applying, we need you to be a precision instrument when getting that application in. Kat, I think that we may have some candidates here today who are interested in roles that are outside of the two that we mentioned. Can you please give me a high-level overview of those other opportunities that are perhaps non-clinical?
Absolutely. Our additional career areas include in-store positions. So for example, in those CVS locations that might be near you, we have in the pharmacy sections of those CVS stores, and we have some other areas of the company that have pharmacies. We have warehouse, fulfillment and transportation, corporate, such as HR, finance, IT, innovation and technology, customer care and customer service, and student opportunities as well for internships and leadership development programs.
Very nice. Thanks, Kat. If you're looking for these non-clinical roles or even clinical roles in other areas, you're going to find the links posted on the VertForce job board for the mentioned career areas. So listen up. If you have a clinical licensure and you're interested in a clinical role outside of the two that Kat mentioned, then please complete the clinical intake form on the VertForce job board. This is going to allow the CVS team to see that you expressed interest as a part of this specific event, and they can then share follow-up information. If you are interested in the utilization management nurse consultant position that Kat covered, you can also view that job posting on the VertForce job board for more info. And please continue to check back for job postings for the case manager RN role. My team right now is going to put links in the chat for you. And let me make sure I'm not ahead of myself on you guys getting links in. Katie, are you good to put our links in? You're good? Okay. I'm going to let her drop them in, and then I'll tell you what you're looking at. These are going to be our application links. So this first link that she's put in is the clinical candidate interest form. So this is not applying directly to a specific position. This is saying that I'm interested in CVS clinical positions, and you can submit the form, and then it's going to direct you to clinical positions. The next link is the case utilization management. That is an actual position on which if you click the link there, you're going to be directed to the application process. If you're accustomed to applying through positions through VertForce in the past, you'll notice this is just a little bit different. We are doing it because the requisition volume at CVS is so high and that they come and go so quickly. It's better if we're doing intake forms to move you into the career site in the area that works for you. That way we can stay along with you during your journey. I will ask that if at any point in the process you are prompted to notify CVS about how you found out about their opportunities, please select VertForce from the drop-down menu. And that is my rundown on that. I want to invite you to drop any questions you have about the application process into the chat, and then we will answer them. But let's talk to Dana one more time, because she's going to give us a lot more information here about the hiring and the application process. Dana, I've done what I can to describe what's going on here, but you have so much more insight. Could you help?
Absolutely. Okay. So links for the roles that Kat mentioned, as we've said, they can now be found on that VertForce job board for you to review and submit an application. In the first step of the application process, like Kimber said, select that VertForce as the option under How Did You Hear About Us? So that's going to help the team recognize that your application is a result of this event. After submitting that application, it will be reviewed by live sets of eyes, as we've talked about, not AI. It'll be reviewed and you'll be notified if you're selected for a telephone interview. That's typically the first step. And the length of that interview will vary depending on the position. Typically occurs with the recruiter. So it could be 15 minutes, it could be 30, it could go 45 if we're talking about a leadership sort of role. After that telephone interview, you will be considered for an interview, and if selected, the interview will be conducted by that hiring leader, usually the hiring manager themselves. The format varies by business area and position, so that could be a single interview, a panel style where you're speaking with multiple people at once. It could be a series of consecutive interviews. Some of those interviews are in person, but most likely conducted virtually anymore. That seems to be how it's done, especially for the first interview. And details, expectations, those would be provided to you by the recruiter that you're working with initially.
Awesome. Thank you. I think your hiring process and application process sounds, I want to say friendly, applicant friendly. I want to say that it sounds like a good experience where you can trust that your resume is getting reviewed by a person. You can trust that you're going to hear from a person. The biggest thing that I see with our candidates in these situations is once they start applying, they're not checking their email, or they're not answering phone calls, or they're screening phone calls. So since we know that real people are reaching out to you and these are not bots, be prepared to have your phone nearby, have your email in a situation where you're able to screen it and emails are not going to junk. So thank you so much, Dana. So now that you've heard about these opportunities at CVS, it is time to get into Q&A. Sapna, you're next.
Hello, thank you for putting this session on. I'm so appreciative of it. I'm the opposite way, where I don't know if you can tell by my accent. I am a military spouse that's a foreign national from England. And I worked as a pharmacist in England for about a decade. I'm currently trying to work on becoming a pharmacist here. It is a long process. So I just wanted to find out if there's any kind of roles that I could use, like with my skill set, my clinical background, that I don't have to be licensed for, and also if there's any part-time remote roles available to work alongside my studies.
Wow, what an incredible situation you're in.
Thank you. It really is. It's been tough.
Nice to meet you.
I will say there are many positions that we have that are not a clinical requirement, right? But it's a nice to have. It's one of those preferred qualifications.
Mm-hmm.
So they're based on your experience, right? You may find a role on our website that would fit exactly your background, where
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to be licensed in a certain, but it's a nice to have, and where
Okay.
your pharmacist experience in another country would apply. So
Okay.
so I'm not going to say no, right? There could
Mm-hmm.
be a perfect position out there for you.
Okay, amazing. And then I guess the second part, like, are there like part-time remote opportunities available so that I guess that's what would help at the moment with my studies. Is that
Mhm.
something is that available as well?
I will say yes, sometimes our
Hmm.
part-time positions that are remote are probably less frequent. We don't have
Okay.
those as often, but occasionally we do.
Mhm. Okay, cool. That's great. Thank you so much.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you, Sapna. I will add, you will need to go and look at what's available. So I've dropped 2 links there, the CVS Health Clinical Candidates Interest Form and the Pharmacy Jobs Form. But I encourage you to just spend some time this afternoon, follow those links and go tour and see if you
Hmm.
can find something. If you need support, reach out to hire@vertforce.us and we will
Hmm.
assist you in any way that we can.
That's great. Thank you so much.
Nice to meet you. Hi, Brittany.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Brittany. I came off, I wanted to ask a question as it relates to my background. I have 13 plus years in public health, working in local health jurisdictions, disease intervention, stakeholder engagement, in policy. And I was interested in whether or not there may be opportunities within the CVS organization for roles such as that. I'm a military spouse for 15 years, but it's been a struggle every PCS to find a new job. And we recently PCS, so I'm currently looking for new employment.
Yes, we do actually have several departments and roles across different organizations within CVS that do hire people with public health experience and military backgrounds. I've met several in as I attend conferences and different organizations, and yes, absolutely, we they work in many different areas, but yes, we do hire public health backgrounds.
Thank you. Hello, A Hunt, or do you have a question?
Hi, yes, sorry, I was trying to unmute. So my name is April. We're currently stationed in Hawaii, and I know you said earlier that there were not as many positions available outside of the continental US. My question is, I have a compact license as well as a Hawaii RN license. And so I was wondering if positions were, and a little bit of this has been addressed, but positions were maybe state or regional. Do you actually have to live in the region or state that you're covering, or if you have a compact license that does cover compact states, if you can be outside of that area and use that compact license to cover it?
Yes, that's a great question. And again, it varies per position. And that's where it's crucial. You know, when you are looking at a position, read through the job description because it should say that most of the time. If it is, if it's not able to be considered in Hawaii, it would say that. Or right. One thing I advise people all the time is in your resume, make sure you list what states you're licensed in, or if you have a compact license, list that, right? Because that just helps the recruiter as they're going through to say, oh, this person could work on this position because they have this license. It just saves us having to ask you the question or thinking that you don't, right? Because you didn't list it there. So it varies. I would say make sure as you're looking at positions, you read the requirements and see if it could be a possibility for where you live.
And adding on to what Kat said, time zone differences could play a role as well. So out there in Hawaii, if you were to apply for a position, you can say willing to work Pacific Coast hours, willing to work whatever the case may be, because that's where we could run into some trouble with that 3-hour time zone difference just to get to the West Coast. But if you're willing to get up super early and work those hours, note that at the top of your resume. It might be helpful.
Thank you. Evelyn, you have your hand up.
Okay, sorry about that. So my question is I have 20 plus years of LPN position and in numerous areas because we move so often in the military with my husband. So I find that, for example, the utilization management consultant role, I do have CCM experience as well with Medicaid. Would that be, because a lot of the times I find that a lot of the utilization management positions require RN position. Like you have to be an RN. So is that something that you guys?
Yes. So the utilization management nurse consultant is typically requires an RN, but the utilization management nurse associate is typically an LVN or LPN. So I would start searching for those nurse associate roles, or just search by LPN in the search function, and it'll show up not just the UM ones, but many others across the organization for LPNs and LVNs.
And are those remote positions as well?
Some are, some aren't, right? It like I said, it varies per job posting that's out there. So you would just have to click on the different ones. And also as part of our search feature, you can select remote. So it only shows the remote ones for you. And as we mentioned before, you can create job alerts so that you're emailed anytime a new position appears on our website. So there's many different ways you can search.
Okay, so with that being said, you know how you guys have the links here? I know that, like, say for the LPN positions, they're not really listed. It's more of a RN position. How would we make sure that we would put on there that it was, via VertForce, like we were on this Zoom call and you guys are able to, sort of acknowledge that?
We have a clinical intake form, so you'll complete the clinical intake form. Katie, you want to drop the clinical intake form? Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, and for everybody listening, we are doing these forms to kind of help you identify the area that you're interested in going into. CVS can see that this is the CVS form. It's not a VertForce form, so they can see that you've completed it. And once you've completed it, it's going to take you to your area of interest. So I will have Katie drop all of those links for you again now. Actually, she's just dropping the clinical intake form. Thank you, Evelyn. I hope you find a great nurse associate remote role. Toni.
Hi. I know you guys have said to tailor your resume to the job description, but do you guys have any specific tips on how to do it for nurses who only have the bedside experience looking for those remote case management and utilization management roles?
I would say, we do hire plenty of people with bedside experience, right? So it's not like you have to have case management experience. So that shouldn't deter you from applying from a position that says, that it says you don't have to have that as a requirement. So as far as highlighting on your resume, put your most recent experience first, list what you do and list what you're looking for. Or for example, let's say, I think I heard someone say earlier they had a case management certification, right? If you have that, list it. Or if you're looking to achieve one or working on one, make sure you highlight that as well.
I'm just going to jump on that and add to it too. So when you're listing your skills and everything, and when you have experience in med-surg, your skill list is this long. So narrow it down, especially with case management. That as a case manager, we're given a lot of education. So put in your resume, highlight that discharge education, highlight hey, I'm providing education to my patients on their conditions, on discharge, you know what I mean? Put that provide education in there, and that'll help as well. You're not saying that you're not doing it. You're just highlighting the fact of the education to go towards this role. I don't know if that made sense, but.
Yeah, it makes sense. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Connie. And then I will do a quick call to action for everybody who's on the call. If you are clinical, we'd love for you to now go and complete the clinical candidate interest form so that CVS can see that you're here. They can identify what your area of specialty is. A lot of these are each of these links are routing through the VertForce job board. I encourage you, while you are on the VertForce job board, take a moment to complete your candidate profile. If you have not done so already, there is a field in the licensures and certifications that will allow you to tell us what your clinical licensures and certifications are. So thank you so much. Sarah, you're next.
Yes. Hi, everyone. So I am actually part of the CVS Health team, so very excited to be on with you all. And I just wanted to provide a little bit of clarification on all of the fabulous links that the VertForce team shared on behalf of our organization. So the clinical intake form is an opportunity, again, for you to indicate what clinical licensure you may have. It is a multi-select field if you have more than one type of clinical licensure. And with this form, it is routing to our internal team to let us see and know that you have expressed interest in our organization and have interest in clinical roles with our company. From this event in particular. Now, next steps, we are going to be taking some time to look through and then follow up accordingly. So I wanted to make sure I set that expectation. I know from the candidate perspective, being in your shoes, hearing something as quick as possible is always ideal. You may not receive an immediate response from us by filling out that form. We're really taking a look through that form and then following up accordingly based on clinical licensure. So we can send you more information than just a thanks for joining the event, and that's all that you get as a message from us. The non-clinical career area links that were provided by the VertForce team, so innovation and technology, in-store customer care, corporate career opportunities, those links will take you to all available job postings for that respective career area that's currently posted on the CVS Health career site. And we do encourage you to search through, if you're searching by location, if you want to refine your search by keyword, whatever that desired filter may be for you. Review the job of interest if you find one. As Kat and Dana had shared, be sure to review the required qualifications. And if you meet all of those and you're interested, you can certainly submit an application from there directly through the CVS Health site. So again, the non-clinical links that were shared in the chat here and that are on the VertForce job board, those are not intake forms. Those are going to take you directly to all job postings across our organization in those career areas. The clinical intake form is allowing us to provide a little bit more detailed information to you.
Thank you for that correction, Sarah. So I apologize. I misinformed everyone that we were doing intake forms for each. I misspoke that we were doing intake forms. The intake form is clinical only. The other links will take you directly to the areas of concentration that you're interested in. Thank you so much, Sarah.
Hi there, my name's Becky. I wanted to find out, do you guys have any of the positions that, the UM or the other one that is concentrated more for pediatrics versus adult care?
We do, not specifically, I don't think I take that back. No, for example, the case managers, we have for our Medicaid organization, some of our Medicaid contracts are specifically for children's specialty organizations. So yes, absolutely. And then there are some other clinical areas as well where it is required to have specific experience with pediatrics or with oncology or a geriatric population. So each role is different, and that it would say that in the job description.
Okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I'm a school nurse forever, so gotta.
We've hired many school nurses before.
All right, great. Thank you.
Nice to meet you, Becky. All right, I'm going to rapid fire through as many of these questions in the chat as I can. And again, if you have a question, you are still welcome to put your hand up. Ashley wanted to know about remote positions that do not require medical experience like customer support. So, Ashley, yes, those exist, and Katie will ensure that she directs you to the link, the appropriate link for customer service at CVS Health. Linda asked about pharmacy tech placement. And so, Linda, we will direct you to the pharmacy link that's going into the chat now. Kat, do you want to add anything on pharmacy before we move to the next question, or do you feel confident that that's a good answer?
I think that's a great spot. We do hire many pharmacy technicians across a couple different business areas.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, moving right along here. Tiffany would like to know, because these positions, the RN position that we're talking about today is so competitive, what can be done to stand out? Would you like to recap briefly?
Sure. So as we said earlier, make sure that you're looking at what the required skills are or required qualifications on that particular job posting that you're looking at versus the preferred. Make sure you have the required, and if you have the preferred, even better. Go ahead and apply. And that's the main thing, really, is just making sure that you meet those requirements and that your resume is highlighting the experience that they're looking for.
Thank you. And Dr. Brittany is on with us, and she would like to know, is there any opportunity for a pharmacist to work remotely?
Yes, there are.
All right. So Dr. Brittany, please head over to the CVS Pharmacy link, which Katie will put in the chat for you now, and you can search for those remote positions. We'd love to know if you apply. Please reach out and let us know if you do. Hire at vertforce.us. And Yulia says, hi, I'm a pharmacist. I'm looking for a position in South Florida, closer to Fort Lauderdale. Who do I contact to see if there are positions available? I'm available to work virtual or on site. My name is Yulia. Yulia, so nice to meet you. We would love to speak with you. You can reach out to hire at vertforce.us, and I will get Felicia to find you in the chat and give you our email address, but you can also just go search directly the pharmacy jobs at CVS as well. My last two questions that I'm seeing here, unless more are coming in, medical coders. We have a few people on the call who are interested in claims and medical coding, and they want to know if CVS would be a great place to look for those kind of positions.
Absolutely, yes. We do have many medical coders. We have some, we really like to find RNs that have medical coding experience, which is even harder to find. And what was the other one? The other claims? Yes, many claims roles as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And our last question is coming from Paige, and then we will close questions. Paige would like to know, she has experience in population health and value-based care. Which link should she pursue?
I would take a look at the corporate positions first for those.
Okay. Paige, head over to the corporate position. So let's paste all of the links in one more time, please, Katie. And Sarah, if you're there and you'd like to speak to these, we'd love to have you recap these links one more time. Just come off mute if you're ready. Okay, there you go, Sarah. Take it away.
Yeah, and Kimber, did you just mean general explanation of what the links are?
Yes, so the first link is the CVS Health Clinical Candidate Interest Form.
Yep.
And the following,
absolutely.
Yeah, the following links are going to different areas. The last link is the utilization management role specifically.
Perfect. Thank you for the recap. So to summarize here, we have a couple different pathways and options depending on your background and depending on your area of interest. So if you have clinical licensure and you are seeking a clinical role with CVS Health, and we define that as a role that that still does require clinical licensure, then please feel free to fill out that clinical candidate interest form. I know a lot of words there, but the clinical candidate interest form, the very first link, that is, we're calling it our intake form. It's providing us with the general information about what your clinical licensure is in, and that is a multi-select field on the form. So if you have more than one type of clinical licensure. I would ask if any licenses are outdated, if there's any that you are not planning to renew, please do not include those. Please only include the ones that are active or maybe ones that you are pursuing that would be relevant for a role that you are interested in. And from there, our team will be able to see that you expressed interest in our organization and our clinical careers as a result of this event. In terms of expectations that you can have from us, if you fill out the clinical candidate form, it may take us a minute to respond back because I know there's a lot of interest that we already have been receiving, and we're really trying to do a good job of taking a look through any provided profiles from this intake form and then follow up accordingly. So this is not an application. This is simply for us to then share your information with the appropriate clinical team we have internally, recruiting team internally, and share some more specific information back to you based off of your background and what you may be interested in. Now, the other links, starting with pharmacy and all the way through innovation and technology jobs, those are links for our non-clinical career areas across our CVS Health enterprise. And those links will take you directly to pre-filtered jobs in that respective career area. So if, for example, you clicked on CVS Health Innovation and Technology jobs, that link will take you to all of our available innovation and technology jobs. You can perform any desired search you would like from there, entering in a desired keyword, filtering for work type, if it's remote or hybrid on site. You can search by location, review the job posting of interest, and then if you meet the required qualifications, you can certainly proceed with submitting your application from there directly through the CVS Health site. And then last but not least is the case utilization management position. That is one of the roles that Kat spoke about today. So that is a direct link to one of our available fully remote anywhere in the US utilization management nurse consultant positions. Kat did also talk about case manager RN. We are currently working to pull some available requisitions for that role. And so I would encourage you to continue to check back on VertForce's job board. But right now, if you're looking for a case manager RN role, we do not have one specifically posted on the VertForce job board. We're working on that. I would say what's going to be really helpful for us is, again, the very first question of the application that you see should show as, how did you hear about us? And from there, there's several drop downs. One of them goes to a military category. And then if you click that, then you should see VertForce. So that will really help us to know who is coming through as a result of this event and from this partnership. But I would say if you have a specific job ID, Kimber, if it's appropriate for me to say, please forward that over to the VertForce team. And then on the back end, we'll make sure to connect with them directly for any additional follow-up.
With that being said, let's recap everything we talked about today. These links are routing through the VertForce job board. And while you're there, we would love for you to pause, head over to your candidate profile, and complete your licensure field under medical certifications and licensure. If you don't have those, just fill out the most of your profile that you can. That way we can stay in touch with you, see who you are, and assist you in any way. If you have questions about any of the positions you're applying for, if you have questions about anything we talked about today and we didn't cover it, we would love for you to email hire@vertforce.us. That account is manned every single weekday, and we will answer you during business hours through the week and help support you in any way that we can. We are giving you, I believe, 7 links today, maybe 8. One is to an actual case manager requisition that is open right now. So if you qualify for it, we would love to see your application go through. The others are links to browse areas of interest. And the final link is if you are clinical and you have a clinical licensure of any form, we want you to complete that to tell CVS that you were here and that you are interested. and let them do their due diligence. Thank you, CVS, for all of your help. Thank you to the CVS team for hanging in here with us today for over an hour and a half. We want to value your time, your commitment to bringing your education to the community. And thank you for answering every single little question that we have today as military spouses and as candidates for your organization. So thank you, Kat, Dana, Toni, Sarah. We are so grateful for everything that you did to bring this event to life today.
Only
Thank
to
you
say
so
it was
much
a
for having us.
pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for exploring the career portable opportunities at CVS Health with me. And this was my military lifestyle show. If you liked what you heard, hit subscribe and join us for the next episode. Turn on your notifications to get more information like this. And please comment, because I respond to them personally, and it's my favorite part about having this show.